There are, in my opinion, a lot of dangerous myths out there that, if we're not careful, can either discourage us or set us back on our path to having success as songwriters. The more educated that you are about these misconceptions, the better prepared you're going to be to make the kind of slow and steady progress towards actual success that you want for your songs. The first myth, and I've referenced this earlier, is that industry people are open to hearing your homemade rough recordings. This is a myth. Don't kill the messenger here, but presentation counts. Industry professionals are used to a certain level of quality when it comes to their recordings. A poor, homemade recording will brand you as an amateur before they've even heard your melody and your lyric. The reason I say don't kill the messenger is that we all know that a song is basically a melody and a lyric, right? So why should it matter how the demo sounds? But at the end of the day, you're not just competing against people's melodies and lyrics, you're competing against the recordings that are also being presented. So if you aren't presenting something that's at a very high level, I guess the best way to put it is, don't give anyone in the industry any reason whatsoever to brand you as an amateur. It's very hard to unconvince people that you're a pro if they've already got it in their head that you're kind of an amateur. Another myth is that you will get discovered at a music conference. Conferences are hugely useful and provide a bunch of valuable functions for learning, connecting with your peers, networking with industry professionals in a nice low-key environment. But if we're honest with ourselves, we're kind of secretly hoping that someone will be so impressed with our songs that they'll immediately go and put them in a movie or record them for one of their albums. I think the danger is, by expecting anything major to happen in the span of a few days, it's just unrealistic, and it puts so much pressure on you to make things happen that you won't be able to enjoy the actual conference and the opportunities to learn and the relationships that you can begin to develop, because you're so wrapped up in the idea that this conference is the be-all and end-all. As I say to people, as long as you're not only planning on being a songwriter over the 3-day weekend of this conference, take a deep breath, relax, and just enjoy the conference, and know that there will be more opportunities to meet people and that you don't have to have it all happen right then. Another myth is that the publishing deal that you're going to get, hopefully, if you want one, is the answer to your prayers. As songwriters, we are so desperate for industry recognition, and we look at a publishing deal as representing that recognition from the industry. But one of the things that is hugely important to remember is that this is a business arrangement where we are giving up something, meaning the ownership of our copyrights, in order to get something, a monthly draw, the industry relationships, and song pluggers. And there are a lot of functions that publishers perform that we as songwriters can do ourselves and keep the ownership of our copyrights. All this to say, while having a publishing deal is definitely good for certain people and in certain instances, don't assume that having a music publisher representing your songs is the only way to succeed. It's not. Some of the most successful songwriters I know run their own publishing companies, own their own publishing. Here's another myth. Anything of lasting value is going to happen quickly. Songwriting success that is sustainable never happens quickly. It's hours, days, weeks, months, and years of consistent work on your craft and on the business side of things that leads to sustainable success. Keeping this in mind will go a long way towards helping you do the work and avoid getting discouraged. It's all the more important, as I've said before, to find a way to enjoy the day-to-day work of being a songwriter so that you're not so wrapped up in the idea that everything has to happen quickly. Now look, I understand this. I understand that when you're passionate about something, you just want the world to know about it and you want them to know about it now. But the reality is, that's not reality. It takes time and it takes patience for all of these things to develop. I look at it as sort of reaching a critical mass of overall effort over a period of time so that eventually things just start to happen. The final myth is that it is impossible to have any success as a songwriter. I don't believe this. I am living proof that this is not the case. The road to success may be long and it may be unpredictable, but it is by no means impossible. There are things that you can and should be doing every day to move forward and increase your chances of success. You absolutely have to be willing to do the unromantic work as well as the fun, exciting musical stuff in order to get there. I believe that it's all about setting reasonable expectations and staying consistent. But if you do those things, I am here to tell you, success can happen.